The Few by Matt Wilkes. Chapter 6. These were not the forests of her storybooks. The ground beneath her feet was wet and sucking and littered with rotting leaves, crumbling branches and patches of sodden moss. Moving quickly was impossible, but while she could hear her pursuers tripping and swearing behind her, she forced herself on. After what seemed like an eternity, 2 hours, of following in the big machine's wake, those sounds of pursuit had faded to nothing. Yet to this silver lining Charlie had managed to add another black cloud. Her feet were really beginning to hurt. Another hour passed, and the soreness of her toes and heels had intensified until it was a burning sensation, and Charlie was finding it hard to concentrate on anything else. She had begun to walk with a pronounced limp. She alternated sides, and occasionally, and impressively, she limped on both sides at once. Mainspring had, of course, noticed. "You appear to be in some difficulty, miss," he said. Charlie didn't look at him. She just gritted her teeth and muttered, "I don't need you to carry me. I'm not a child." There was silence. Said Mainspring. "I wasn't going to suggest carrying you, miss. I was simply going to adjust our pace to fit your new and impractical style of perambulation." "Oh, well, good," said Charlie. They continued for a few minutes, Charlie limping in an even more exaggerated fashion, and Mainspring striding at a measured pace, head swinging from side to side, watching the trees. Eventually Charlie said, "But you could carry me if it became necessary." "I am more than capable," her large companion replied. "However, it would impair my ability to perform my primary function of protecting you." "Right. Protecting me from physical harm?" "That is correct, miss." "Like, for example, blisters?" "No, miss. Not blisters." Silence reigned for a while before Mainspring said, "I see this as a valuable life lesson from which you will learn both the value of suitable footwear and the dangers of a sedentary lifestyle." Charlie said nothing. Very loudly. Yet another hour, and the damp woodland seemed endless and unremittingly hostile towards Charlie. Having tripped and stumbled for the 47th time she was counting, she let out a dramatic sigh. Mainspring stopped and turned around. "We should stop here," he said. "Oh?" exclaimed Charlie, surprised but pleased. "Yes," said Mainspring. "My feet hurt and I'm hungry." "Really?" Charlie said, now even more surprised. "No, miss, not really. I just assumed that was what you were going to say to me." "I was not," she said indignantly. "Why would you assume that?" "Because, miss, it is what you have said 12 times in the last 22 minutes. I was counting." "Humph," Charlie said, but thought, he was counting too. Maybe we do have something in common. She sank thankfully to the ground and unpacked a few of the edible items she'd stolen from the Library kitchens. A hunk of cheese, a couple of oatmeal biscuits and an apple. As she was rummaging in her bag for more, she paused and looked up at Mainspring, who was standing nearby with his head tilted to one side. "Do you, want anything to eat?" she asked. Mainspring didn't move from his odd, bird-like pose as he said, "I do not require sustenance of any sort, ma'am. My battery has a half-life of over 500 years. After that, I suppose I may begin to feel a little peckish." "Oh, right. So, no food then?" No, miss. Thank you. And, continued Charlie, by battery you mean your clockwork? No, miss. By battery I'm referring to my direct power source. It is pre-collapse technology, and so perhaps it is easier for you to think of it as clockwork, said Mainspring. Charlie frowned. I feel like I'm being patronised, she said. Do you, miss? I am sure that is only because of your limited ability to grasp the enormity of my technical marvels. Mainspring delivered this in a deadpan fashion. Not that he moved from his strange pose or altered the intonation in his voice at all. So perhaps it was only Mainspring himself who recognised the delivery as deadpan. Well, began Charlie, who may not have recognised the delivery, but had certainly recognised the insult. You look daft. Why in the name of Darwin's beetles are you standing like that? I am scanning the immediate area for threats to my principal, said the automaton. Threats to your principles? Asked Charlie, who was spending so much time on the back foot in these conversations that she felt like sitting down. No, miss. My principal. The person I am protecting. You. Oh, said Charlie, a smile forming beneath her surprised eyebrows. In that case, carry on. Thank you, miss. And you carry on eating. We should be on our way. Charlie ate her meagre meal in silence, while her protector continued to watch over her. When she was finished, the robot knelt silently at her feet and gently removed her boots. Charlie winced as she tugged her stockings over her sore heels and toes, and again as he inspected them with soft fingers. She watched, fascinated, as Mainspring reached into an inside pocket and brought out a short silver cylinder. He deftly applied this to the blisters, and a sudden cold was followed quickly by numbness and relief. What is that? She asked. Only natural compounds, all of which can be found in this climate, miss, replied the robot, as he returned the cylinder to his jacket and stood up. Charlie replaced her stockings and boots and smiled up at him. Thank you, she said.